Hello there, Pisces. This is Sherry Simpson coming to you from British Columbia, Canada. And it is late for me to be doing your February reading. But for some reason, I needed to wait until almost the full moon in the middle of your sign. The interesting thing about playing in your energy is that you are extremely empathic and psychic and intuitive, and so I don't necessarily know that you need to watch readings like these because you probably do them for yourself, and if you don't, you're tapped into your own guidance and awareness and information that you might not need this kind of guidance. But there are people watching this who are Pisces moon and Pisces rising sign who may not believe that they have these psychic abilities or intuitive abilities. So one thing I'm guided to share with you is about what the sacral chakra, about what the difference is between being intuitive, being psychic, and being a medium. So let's chat about that just for a second before I pull 4 cards. So my name is Sherry Simpson. I'm a transformational life coach. I have learned that I am psychic and that I am also a medium. So I work at all 3 of the levels of intuition, psychic abilities, and mediumship. So what's the difference? When you are intuitive, then you have an open third eye, and you have this ability of connecting in to your highest self, to your soul self, to your source in order to get guidance about what is for your highest and greatest good. And you can pull information almost like a channel where you're pulling information from your guides, from your teachers, from your angels, from everyone you're connected to, and from yourself about what you truly desire, so you're not all foggy based on what's going on around you on a human level or on an egoic level. And you can be, of course, like our fogginess and the things that happen around us are like shifting and changing all the time. But your ability to pull information about yourself and about your needs and desires and about your true soul, higher self, is about intuition. When it comes to being psychic, it's as though you're connected in through that solar plexus in a totally different way, and you have the ability to connect in with other people's guides and other people's angels and other people's teachers and ascended masters and the people around them, and they can speak through your guides in order for you to get information about other people. So that is like a psychic tendency, and that is like a gut response kind of tendency. And so I keep like touching myself here in that like solar plexus, like right underneath the sternum sort of area where it's like a gut response. But the psychic abilities can come in above the 5 senses. So the 5 senses are the human senses that you know about, like you touch it, you see it, you taste it, you smell it, you feel it. But the 6 senses are where our psychic nature comes in, where we're clairvoyant, where we can see things, where we're clairsentient, where we feel things and we're really empathic, where we're claircognizant like myself, where I just know stuff and I have no idea where it comes from. It's just there. And I'm like, oh, that's just where it came from. That's just what it is. And so your 6 senses can be vibrant when you're tuned in and tapped onto yourself, as well as when you're psychic and you can connect in with other people. So my belief of those two is that everyone is intuitive, and most people have psychic abilities. They just don't use them. And so it's one of those things that you sort of, it's like riding a bike, you've used them in past lives, and so you want to actually open it up and be able to tap into how do I do that in this life, and then you can expand and grow and you practice and you just have it. It's just there. And then mediumship is a little bit different. Mediumship The way that James Van Praagh explains it is that our guides and our teachers and our angels and our loved ones are at a higher vibration than us. So they resonate like at a lighter frequency than we do because we're third dimensional and we're really dense, right? So they actually resonate as though there's a person standing with their feet on our shoulders and they're up above into like towards the heavens and the sky. They're up there. So in order for us to be able to communicate with them and for them to communicate with us, then there's like this transition or this meeting place that happens where we actually have to be meditating and tuned into ourselves and open to our source and aligned through our chakras enough that we can actually connect into things that are higher than our dense physical self. And they actually have to bring themselves down in energetic frequency in order to connect with us. So the mediumship is about bringing information and connecting in with loved ones past who are now in that dimension of things that are lighter and freer and above and around us. So not everyone can do it because some people are really stuck in their humanness, which isn't a bad thing, it's just where you are. And some people are way more connected through meditation and through source and through inner guidance and through psychic abilities and speaking with their own guides, that they have this ability in order to connect in with higher powers, and then the loved ones bring in messages, and you can ask that your guides and their guides and teachers and angels connect in order for you to be able to speak on that psychic level with the mediumship ability. So I hope that makes sense. And Pisces, I believe that most of you have the ability to do all three if you're not already doing that. One thing that I love about Pisces is you're a water sign, as am I. I'm a Scorpio. But you have this sense about you where it's that me costas su costas sense, where you just are giving to everyone. And the interesting thing about most signs who do that is most people do it in a form of like people pleasing. You don't seem to have that nature, and if you do, then I want you to really listen to this and check into it. But most of you Pisces have this sense of just giving to other people, but you know that you also need to give to yourself, so you allow yourself to be at an equivalent place where everyone else is, and you understand that we're all connected and you understand that we're all one, and so you include yourself there. So kudos for that. And if you're not doing that and you're seeing the rest of the world as being above you or separate from you, then just allow yourself to check in with that this month. So the 4 card pulls that I normally do during these readings are 4 cards based on the physical body is 1 card, the mental body is another, the emotional body is the 3rd, and then spiritual guidance is the 4th. So I really see us, even in this human sense, as having 4 different bodies and being able to tap into information through all 4 of those bodies. So I pull cards based on that. So Pisces, we are moving into the full moon, which I think happens for most countries across the planet tonight as we move into March 1st, and then some will experience it tomorrow. This is the 3rd full moon of 2018. 2018 is an 11 mastery year. And 11 is that gateway to the inside, that gateway to connecting into our human inner guidance in a new way. And this is the 3rd full moon that happens this year at 11 degrees. So there's a big push for us to connect into our intuition. And this particular moon is in Virgo, and it's connected to healing the body on a physical sense and going within. Let's pull this one for the physical. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so physically, Pisces, if you have been feeling that maybe you took the wrong path in terms of a physical nature, so part of me thinks that maybe you had surgery or something because of a physical experience with a shoulder or with a lower back or with a knee or something like that, and it didn't work out the way you hoped that it would, or maybe you didn't have surgery and you wish that you did. So on some physical sense, you made some choice that you thought, oh, I really kind of wish that I hadn't done that. And I want you to know, or Spirit wants you to know, that if you're feeling hopeless or helpless about which way that could have or should have gone, then the guidance around that is it doesn't matter if you did or if you didn't, you're still going to end up in the same place. And because this is an 8 card, that makes me think that the place that you're going to end up, regardless of what decision you made, or possibly you're making a decision coming up in the next few weeks about, do I have surgery or do I not? Do I go with physical therapy or some kind of other therapy or treatment and not have surgery? I'm not sure why surgery is coming up, but it's just something that I thought of, so it must be relevant. It doesn't matter. So do whatever is intuitively or psychically, or if you have your own loved ones that you connect with, do whatever the information or the guidance is leading you to make. So make that decision. It won't matter. You're going to be abundant. You're going to be healthy. It's going to work out for the best, regardless of what decision you make. So if you're feeling hopeless and helpless about the decision, whether you've made it in the past already or whether you're going to be making it, it doesn't matter. Just trust your gut. As long as you're trusting your gut, you're going to end up going to the place that you're meant to go, regardless of what happens. I'm getting a little truth sign on that. So let's tune in to your mental thoughts. What you keep thinking make your beliefs. Strengthening bonds. This is one card that's come up a lot this month, or it came up a lot through the February readings. So on a thought and belief perspective, the thoughts we keep thinking create our beliefs, and then our beliefs are basically how we live our truth. So it's how we see the world is what we believe. So if you believe that that rich people are all mean, then every rich person, whoever you see or feel as being rich, so maybe people aren't rich according to your thoughts until they've made over $1 million a year. So if you believe that anyone who is rich, who's making over $1 million a year, is mean, then that means that because of your belief, you're actually going to draw in the truthfulness of that belief. So whatever your beliefs are, I want you to actually think about them and whether they're actually true. So the interesting thing about beliefs and things like that are, if you believe something like that, then from a mathematical probability perspective, most of our beliefs don't make sense, because if you were to actually count how many people on the planet were making more than $1 million and then determine if they were mean or not, most of them would not be. So it's very interesting how our thoughts and our beliefs, and that's just an example, most of our thoughts and beliefs are only true to us because that's maybe like that happened to us 3 times as a kid, so, or our parents like put that into ourselves, or our teacher said anybody who makes over $1 million is mean and cranky. Or maybe there was a mean guy who lived down the street and he made over $1 million, so that was just the thought pattern you had, and so it's the belief that you create. So I guess you want to see this card, right? So the card is about strengthening bonds, and so how does that tie in? Well, I get the sense that the bonds that you have right now with your thoughts and the beliefs and how you've created your world are really not the ones that you actually want to strengthen. So that means I get the sense that you really want to think about the thoughts that you're thinking and realize and notice them, and notice the beliefs that those thoughts are actually creating and the truthfulness that they're associated with, and then determine if they're still serving you. Because a lot of times our thoughts and our beliefs are actually created before the age of 7. So they actually have happened because of what our parents said, what our teachers said, what our siblings said, what we noticed in the grocery store when we were a kid, or any of those experiences that happened when we were little. And then that's what our beliefs are about. And then our beliefs just keep their beliefs. So we just assume that the world is like that. So I don't want you to continue strengthening beliefs that are no longer serving you. So if you're recognizing your thoughts and then taking those beliefs and looking at them as the observer and saying, maybe everyone who makes $1 million isn't me. And so you're choosing to strengthen the bonds or strengthen the beliefs about the ones that make sense to you, but you're going to ditch the thoughts and the beliefs and the bonds about those that are not serving you, and you're going to change those up this month. At least that's what I'm recommending you do, or guidance is recommending that you do, in order for you to recreate and restructure the bonds that you want to strengthen. So as we're moving into this full moon, it's about going within, it's about inner guidance. And so tap into your own inner guidance, tap into your own psychic abilities, tap into your loved ones if you're connected on that mediumship level, and determine which bonds you want to strengthen. Determine which thoughts and which beliefs are really serving you, and the ones that aren't, just reprogram them. Ask yourself, or let yourself know, because they were created before the age of 7, you really want to thank the 7-year-old or the child within you for upholding those beliefs for so long, because they've served you until now. But if they need to be changed, because number one is about that independence, number one is about creating new things, it's about new birth. So if you're going to birth some new bonds with people, with yourself, with communication, with experiences and situations and whatever is going on that you're birthing now through this moon, I'm getting until about the 13th of April for you. So allowing new thoughts and new beliefs in order to allow you to strengthen bonds with people, bonds with yourself, bonds with situation and experience, so that when it comes to that time frame, or that time when you're going to be ready to celebrate what it is that you have created through the changes of the thoughts and beliefs, then you're actually celebrating things that you want, that are relevant to now, rather than thoughts and beliefs that are relevant to when you were 7 or when you were younger. So again, you want to actually say thank you to the patterns and the ego and the childhood you that helped you create those bonds that were served you for so long. And now you actually want to, and one of the things I like to envision as I'm actually doing inner child work is putting a cape or giving some kind of a tool to our own inner child and asking them now to do this new job. So you can ask that inner child with the new cape to help you strengthen the bonds of this new belief and this new thought pattern, or new thought patterns that are going to create this new thing that you're going to birth into the world over the next 6 weeks or so. And so if I look specifically at this card, this woman is actually eating like an apple, which makes me think of like the fruits of her new thoughts and her new beliefs. And she is walking through nature. In your water sign, nature is going to be really big for you. So if you have been stuck indoors, make sure that you're allowing yourself to get out and to connect with nature in a new way, so that you're not that ties into your physicalness for some reason. So if you are inside and you're feeling stagnant and there's no shift and there's no movement, then allowing yourself to perhaps strengthen your bonds with nature is actually going to help you with planting the seeds of whatever it is that you're trying to grow and create during this year. And it's going to help you on that physical nature of healing, and of knowing that you're creating abundance in all the areas that you want, and that you're going to get to the place that you want to go. And so I always tell people that if you don't change something, then we end up feeling like we're on a merry-go-round, or we're living Groundhog Day. And so we have to change our thoughts and beliefs. We have to change our physical actions. If you want to change like your physical body in some way, then you need to do some exercise, or or you need to eat differently, or you need to do something. And so if you're not making enough changes, then you're not going to make enough shifts in order to see these new things that are going on. And some of those changes actually have to do with the thoughts and beliefs. And so strengthening your bonds with your thoughts and beliefs, strengthening your bonds with nature, getting out into nature, doing things differently, planting those seeds to be able to create what it is that you're creating. Interesting because the 8 is about abundance. The 8 is about abundance on a level, so some people only see it as like a personal power, empowerment, and growth sort of number. I see it as abundance in health, wealth, relationships, purpose, passion, everything. And number 1 is about new beginnings and planting seeds. But number 9, which is about the full moon that's happening tomorrow on March 1st, is 9s are about endings, they're about culminations, and they can be about releasing things from the past, because the culmination of things means that we're moving into another cycle where stuff has to shift again. And so 9s can be about endings, and when it comes to endings and it comes to us shifting our patterns and shifting our beliefs, we can feel almost sad about it. We can almost feel like we're losing a piece of ourself, or we're losing a piece of our identity. So I want you to step into that place of, but doing that is actually going to allow me to grow and allow me to expand, and it's going to serve me in a way that the old thoughts and patterns and the old physical actions have not yet been serving me. So they served you for so long. You can allow that childhood you to take on this new role within you that's going to help you create the newness and actually come to that next ending and culmination of whatever it is that you're creating. So let me tap into the next card. The next card is about your emotions. So let's see how you're emotionally feeling right now. This is your birthday month. It's a big month for you. You are very psychic. You are very intuitive. You're very connected to the people around you. You're very loving. You're very kind. You're very flowing. You're a water sign. There's a lot of awesome things about you. And emotionally, oh, you're really heart-centered emotionally. Emotionally, what kind of guidance can we bring in for Pisces this month in terms of emotions? Whew, if you're not breathing, I want you to actually move. If you're not breathing, I want you to actually think about releasing those old things from the past. So I was just talking about releasing old thoughts and beliefs and not getting stuck, and giving that new you a different, that old you a different new thing to do. So that childhood you, or that past you, or the old thoughts and beliefs, a new thing to physically do. And I was just talking about shifting emotions, and we got the 7 card, and we got the 7 card in terms of emotions, which makes me think that on an emotional level, you may be stuck in the emotions that you, so they may be, how can I put this without rambling? So while I was shuffling the cards, I got the sense that you weren't breathing, that you were actually holding on and hoarding things. And so when it comes to emotions, I get the sense that you're not moving them. And when it comes to emotions, we can hold on to them. Sometimes we think that they're serving us, and sometimes we're terrified to let them out, or let people see them. For a lot of people, anger can be one of those things that we sort of hoard, and the body will actually express anger through rashes, or through inflammation, or through different conditions that end with itis, because we're hoarding that emotion as though we shouldn't be allowed to feel it. You might be feeling like, well, I'm a Pisces, I'm supposed to be happy and giving to everyone. I can't show that I'm angry. But you need to actually experience those things and release them somehow. So if you've been holding on to things and not breathing, Allow yourself to move and shift those emotions that are stuck by exhaling them away or by getting out into nature. And if you're feeling like you can't do that on a physical sense, then do it vibrationally, visually, in meditation, by just thinking about moving your body. You actually get 60% of the benefits of actually thinking about doing something that you would if you actually did it. So there's been studies where like athletes, like Olympic athletes, will actually think about the practice and think about the movement patterns and think about the muscles moving. And even by thinking, they actually have trained the brain and the muscle connection to think that that was actually real, because they thought about it so clearly and so vividly that the brain couldn't tell the difference. So if for some reason you can't move because of knee injuries or back injuries or something else that's been going on a physical nature, then allow yourself to get into nature, change your thoughts and beliefs around that, and then allow yourself to, if you can't physically move, and I'm getting the sense that you should get into the pool if you can, because water is awesome for you. But if you can't physically move things, then do it on a visualization or on an energetic level or on a breathing level where you're actually releasing things that don't serve you. So move your emotions, allow yourself to feel things regardless of what emotion comes up, but just don't hang out there. So you don't have to hang out in anger, you just have to feel it and acknowledge it and say, okay, I'm angry. I'm angry about this. I've been holding on to this for a while and I'm angry. And so just acknowledging that is enough. And then you can actually breathe out the anger and move it and shift it. And the cool thing about that, I don't know why I'm bringing up anger. It must be relevant for you for some reason. But the cool thing about that is that it creates space. And the universe loves a void. So if you're creating space that allows you to fill it, then you want to train the universe about how to fill it. So that means if you continue to think anger is bad, and for some reason you've been attracting anger that you've been storing, and then suddenly you exhale the anger, if you don't give your body a new pattern or a new emotion to fill that space with, you're still a match to anger, so you're going to bring in more anger, which means that you need to then start inhaling after you've exhaled the anger what it is that you want. So do you desire more peace, more love, more acceptance, more joy, more love, more happiness, more bliss, whatever it is that you want to bring in? Allow yourself to inhale that in. Allow yourself to experience that in nature. Allow yourself to exhale any pain if you've been going through things on a physical nature. Allow yourself to exhale any pain, to exhale anything that is not healing, to exhale any energy around this is taking forever. Any exhale anything about the decisions that you made that you maybe weren't content with or didn't know about, and just exhale all of that away. And so you're going to move the emotions associated with anything physical and anything mental if you haven't been moving them. So moving it in a physical way, moving the emotions in the pool, moving the emotions in a mental way by moving the thoughts and beliefs, and moving any of the emotions in sorry, I'm tapping into whatever else is coming up there. I'm getting the holding your breath thing again. Are some of you actually feeling like you have an elephant on your chest and this is like layers and layers and layers of stuff that's suddenly coming up? Like if you actually move these emotions, that you're opening up this whole big can of worms that you're sort of like terrified to open. I want you to ask if that big can of worms and holding on to it has actually been serving you. Because if it hasn't, then it's probably time to move it. It's time to shift the patterns and beliefs around it, and it's time to feel that it's not helpless and hopeless, that there is abundance to be had, that there is health and wealth and amazing relationships and new bonds to be created. So So that that holding on, that resisting change or something like that, it's preventing that flow. You're a Pisces. You're supposed to be flowy. You're a water sign. So if you've been hoarding and holding on to things that aren't serving you, give yourself permission to move them. And I get the sense that once you do that on a physical and an emotional and a mental level, that manifestation is actually going to be easier for you. So this card is the 7, and this is about, obviously it's about a connectedness with relationships and a connectedness with the heart. You can see that the swirl here creates the 8, which ties us into the abundance. And for me, this sense of the 7 is about connecting us to source and then creating this lightning bolt of manifestation that can occur into the physical. So I get the sense that if you've been holding on to stuff, if you've been hoarding your emotions, then it's time to allow them to move. You can't hold on to them and create the new bonds and the new changes and the new shifts that you want. So allow them to move, even if it's only a little bit at a time, in order to create the manifestations that you want, in order to bring in love, if that's what's been going on with whatever the pressure is on your chest or that thing that's been blocking your solar plexus. Trust yourself to guide yourself. Trust yourself to tap into your own emotions. And I get the sense that if you are super empathic and you have been holding on to other people's stuff, that you don't have to do that. You can move those emotions too. If they're not yours and they're not serving you, then just allow yourself to release them. And in that sense, you can call in Archangel Michael and ask Archangel Michael to cut any cords that are attached to you that are no longer serving you, or are connected to people who are pulling and drawing energy from you that is extracting vital source energy from you. The other thing that I get is, one of the things I like to do is actually place a drain at the tailbone, and then imagine that any of the emotions that are no longer serving me, or the pain and signs and symptoms if you've had some kind of a surgery or something, or the old thoughts and beliefs, if they need to shift so that you can strengthen new bonds. Allow them to drain out your body through that drain that you've actually visualized at the tailbone. And then again, once you've done that and you've shifted and moved those things, then allow the inhale and the expansion of your chest and the bringing in of new emotions to allow a greater connectedness to source, and then a greater manifestation of what it is you want to create from a loving, guided place, regardless of whether that's new relationships, whether it's wealth, whether it's health, whether it's passion and purpose. But something is stuck and not moving. So it's time to actually shift and strengthen those bonds and release the ties to the thoughts and beliefs that are holding you stuck. And it's time to release that helpless and hopelessness of did I do this wrong? Am I doing this wrong? Am I still on the right path? Know that whatever choice and decision you've made, and the new beliefs that you come in, and the shifting of emotion is going to bring you to where you want to be. Let's see what your fourth, right there. Awesome. Love it. So you'll say, let's see what your fourth card is, but your fourth card popped up right off the top there. And your fourth card from Spirit is about blossoming. So I get the sense that once you are releasing that sense that the decision I'm going to have to make, or the one that I've already made, led me to the wrong place. Once you release that, and you release the sense of physically I'm stuck, and once you release the thoughts and beliefs that aren't serving you, and allow a greater connection, a greater bonding to yourself, to your source, to your intuition, to your psychic abilities, and allow more flow, and move those emotions and move your physical body if that's something that you haven't been doing, and move those thoughts and patterns and reprogram the childhood you to help you in a different way, then you're going to blossom. You're going to be able to magically create with that psychic area, that whole area of the third chakra where your solar plexus and your personal power and your empowerment is, you're going to be able to shift and blossom into whatever it is that you know you want to create or know that you want to do. And that makes me think we're in an 11 universal year, and 11 reduces to 2. We're coming up to the third full moon that is at 11 degrees. So the one on January 1st, the one on January 31st, and the one on March 1st, all at 11 degrees. And so the 11 actually reduces to a 2. And the 2 is about connecting in with another. So strengthening your bonds with you and yourself. Strengthening bonds with your highest self and your ego self. Strengthening bonds with your highest self and ego self and your source. Strengthening your bonds with you and every single person who you have relationships with. Strengthening your bonds with yourself and your childhood self. Moving those emotions and being able to blossom into a new you, but also that sense, I get that sense, for some reason April 13th is coming up, but I get the sense of blossoming that thing that you want to plant the seed for, that idea, that project, that energy, that relationship, that abundance thing, that healing, whatever that is going to blossom once all of these things shift. Pisces, I get the sense that that's all the information you needed this month. So I probably won't do a March 1st reading for you because I've just done your February reading. But I will certainly come in probably around the 3rd week of March to do your next reading to see how you are transforming and transitioning into this whole process of moving your emotions and strengthening the bonds with you and what it is you want to create and how it is actually blossoming for you. So I hope that was helpful. Please like, comment, and share. If you want a personal reading, then I'd be more than happy to do that for you. I do work in the Akashic Records, which is the soul book on the 5th dimension and above. And so I do healing, medical, intuitive healings, intuitive guidance readings with clients. And so if you're looking for something deeper or something more personal, I can leave all the information for connecting me and contacting me in that for those readings in that way. Have a beautiful month. This is going to be amazing for you. Namaste.